Hello Ramen Nation, Chris Cobain here, and I'm bringing you battle number 2 in our Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle series. This time we're going up against, honestly, maybe the best competitive battler who ever enters my stream. His name is Teremiare. Name sounds familiar. He's actually, I believe, the OU room owner on Showdown. I could be wrong, but he's up there. He's a really good battler. Subscriber to the channel, a regular, and like I said, phenomenal battler, and definitely somebody who challenges me every time we fight. In fact, I very rarely beat him. But anytime we do battle, it always makes for a great one, and this one may honestly be the best one I think we've ever had. So take a look at the teams for this one. Looking on my side, it's actually going to be the same exact team you saw in the last video. We've got my lead Lycanroc Day, we've got my Shell Smash Sweeping Minior, the Specs Vikavolt, the Scarf Lele, the Specially Defensive Defog, Decidueye, and a Banded Mudsdale. On his side, we have Mamoswine, who is an Island Scan only mon right now, in case anyone's like, wait, you can't catch him. He's actually Island Scan. Hard to get, but you can get him. He's obviously going to be, as what I'm looking at, a lead rocker. Toxapex is just a really nuisance-y wall. Lycanroc Knight, still not sure exactly what Lycanroc Knight form does. I faced one in the last video as well. It was Scarfed, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. We've got Scizor, and note, this is actually meant to be a Mega Scizor. He never is able to Mega it because he doesn't have the Mega Bracelet. You have to go talk to Cena and Dexia, or whatever their names are, after you beat the game on the way to the Battle Tree. I guess he didn't know that. He never did it, so he has a Mega Stone on it, but it cannot Mega. Xurkitree, one of the Ultra Beasts. A lot of people find it really lackluster because of its pretty limited move pool, but it does get what it needs for the most part between Electric Stab, clearly, Hidden Power Ice, and actually Energy Ball, where it can do a lot of work. And then Tapu Bulu, Grass-type Tapu, typically used as a Banded Mon, but as you're going to see, that is certainly not what he goes for in this video. So let's go ahead and get it started. So in this game, we actually both have dedicated leads. Mine's the Lycanroc. His is going to be the Mamoswine, so that is exactly what the leads are going to be. This is unfortunately not the best decision for me, or the best matchup for me, but I decide since I'm sashed, I'm going to go and go for it. So, to my knowledge, I wasn't sure that Thick Fat was available. I thought that he had to be Oblivious, so I actually started with Fire Fang here, because I didn't think I could taunt him. Unfortunately, it turns out he actually is Thick Fat. I'm not exactly sure how you're able to obtain that, but he is. And as you see, that does very, very little damage to him. But it does actually put him in range for a Stone Edge. And here is actually, as he shows Life Orb there, this is actually a really big play in the game, as you're going to see later. He actually doesn't Ice Shard me. Now, the reason he wasn't going to Ice Shard me there is twofold. One, he could have bringed me to have a Cellar and it not matter. Two, Tapu Lele is on the field and he blocks priority, so he didn't want to give me a free switch in there. So neither of us end up getting rocks up, which is kind of funny. He actually brings in Scizor here, and if I didn't reveal Fire Fang, he may have not gone for Bullet Punch there. But I was hoping he would also mispredict a second time, but he does not, and we actually both lose our leads pretty quickly. So now here's why the Mamoswine play is going to be huge. He actually has no play for my Volt Switch now. He actually had Mamo as a Volt Switch answer, but now Vikavolt's going to have pretty much free reign to just continuously Volt Switch his entire team. He's got two resistances, one being Bulu, the other one being the fairly frail Xurkitree. So we're going to Volt Switch out. He's got really no play for that in my mind. But as you're going to see here, I'll go into Lele, who will revert his terrain back to into my Psychic. And as you're going to see, he actually has leftovers. So the play here is certainly a bulky variant. He's got leftovers. He gets the recovery from his terrain most of the time. I'm assuming he probably has Leech Seed. I'm assuming he probably has Horn Leech. So this thing's going to be a very, very bulky variant. And as you're going to see, he's actually going to protect turn one, kind of proving or showing my entire theory correct. It's a Leech Seed, grassy terrain, leftovers, protect on the Leech Seed. This thing heals like 40% or something per turn when it's used right. And as you're going to see, he actually eats up this Psychic really, really well. And does reveal Leech Seed right there. So this thing's a really, really specially defensive wall. And something that's going to be very annoying for this battle. as you're going to see. So even without the terrain up, you're going to see that he heals a solid amount of HP, pretty much 25% or so, just from the leftovers and the leech seed there, not to mention the terrain later. So on this one, I'm going to predict him to protect because he already revealed it. We're going to go into Decidui here, and as you're going to see, I actually do make this call correctly. So this thing is a special wall, and I figure that if I'm able to trap it with Spirit Shackle, I can pretty much wear it down and kill it, especially since his terrain's down. So I'm going to predict the switch on the first turn and go for a U-turn. He actually protects again, so as you're going to see throughout the battle, he actually makes use of protect about as much as he can to continually heal himself because with Vikavolt on full reign of the team, he's really going to need this thing healthy in order to fight it. So the second turn here, I actually make a pretty big misplay. We actually go for Spirit Shackle. That's a really bad play on my part, to be honest. Again, there's no reason for him to leave Bulu in. If I'm able to Spirit Shackle it, he instantly loses the fight because he's not going to be able to do anything to me, and I'm going to be able to wear him down with just Spirit Shackles alone. So I should have U-turned out again. I don't. So on the second play here, I will U-turn out on the Scizor. Thankfully, I end up being faster than the Scizor. It's a very bulky variant. If I was slower, then I may have lost this match right there because he actually goes for Brutal Swing, which would have killed me in one hit actually against the tech. So Decidui is a really, really important part of the match. If he would have died right there, I think I would have lost right off the bat. So he goes for Roost here. Now, I actually misplayed here, I feel like. I went for Earthquake, forgetting that actually grassy terrain weakens ground attacks. When I first looked at it, I thought specially defensive Bulu. He doesn't really have a great switch in for me, but Bulu would have been a phenomenal one. So he does not do that, and I actually go ahead and make the play here to predict Bulu, and he actually planned on sacking Scizor. Now, my assumption here was that he was sacking him because he can't even Mega it. I would have guessed. But either way, I did predict Bulu to come out and try to counterplay that with my Starburst, who I felt like could set up. And he just stays in and bullet punches it, which kind of sucks. That pretty much ends Minior's run here. Last video, he was hella important, did a lot of work. This time, he literally does nothing at all. He just takes a couple of tech bullet punches and we move on. But I am able to bring out Lele now. He clearly has no switch in for that at this point. He probably could bring in Bulu and try, but based off the way he was going to sack it against sack Scizor against Mudsdale, pretty sure he's not going to switch this time, and he does actually stay in. No bullet punch clearly, and Scizor's going to go down on another trade, making this again a 4-4. So, now you're going to be able to see the full Bulu effect here. He's going to go into it and take off my terrain, reset his grassy terrain. Now he's got all the recovery he could possibly hope for. So, yet again, my answer to this is very much so Decidui. That is why he's so important to this game. Without him, I really don't know what I'm able to do against this Bulu because of the fact that he can eat the Horn Leeches decently, deal solid damage with Spirit Shackle, and is obviously immune to Leech Seed. So, as you see, Horn Leech, HP recovery, the leftovers, the terrain, everything just stacks up phenomenally here for him. He's not even actually done healing. He actually he just continuously heals throughout his entire time on the field, making him really annoying to kill. So yet again here, I make a really, really bad play. I went for Spirit Shackle a second time. Now this time I predicted him Protect, and I wanted to make sure that he'd switch so I can get the momentum, but he doesn't even Protect, which I really thought he would with the terrain up. And Toxapex gets a free switch in. So at this point, I'm just going to hard switch out of Decidui. There's no reason for me to click U-turn because this thing gets Baneful Bunker, which is a form of King Shield. If you make contact with it, it poisons you though, and I really don't want Decidui being poisoned right now. As long as I can keep him healthy, it works out way better for me. So we're going to hard switch out instead of U-turning into the Vikavolt, as he sets up a layer of Toxic Spikes. So obviously now Decidui is going to be forced to come in and defog that, so the poison's already there. This turn I actually end up going for Thunderbolt. Now, that may have been a misplay on my part, but I think he predicted me to Bug Buzz there because of Bulu in the back, but I don't. I actually just go for Thunderbolt. Toxapex dies. That is a huge play in the game. This one, I actually planning on sacking Vikavolt to the Lycanroc, but he predicts my switch, I'm not sure what he thought. I think he was predicting Mudsdale there, if I had to be honest, but I really didn't want Mudsdale to be poisoned at this point, so I actually plan on sacking Vikavolt, and he overpredicts that, goes into Bulu. You see how much damage, even to a specially defensive set, the Specs Thunderbolt does a solid, close to 50%. His terrain actually goes away, which is huge, and this is going to allow me to go into Decidueye here for pretty much free. Obviously, the Toxic Spikes are going to kick in. They're going to start wearing me down, but I know that I'm actually going to be able to defog here for pretty much free, other than the little bit of poison damage I'm going to take. Obviously, leftovers will work against that as well. And it's going to get the Spikes on the field, which is huge because I really can't have Lele at this point or Mudsdale being poisoned. They need to be really healthy. So at this point, he's going to go ahead and switch out. I believe he jumps into the Xurkitree. He does. And that's going to grant me an automatic defog. Now, a lot of people say this thing's moveset's really bad, but because it's really honestly all electric and energy ball. But as you're going to see here, I am a fully 100% 252 HP, 252 special defense, careful nature. I'm 100% built on special defense, and as you're going to see here, he goes for just a simple hidden power ice here, or something like probably ice. And to a fully specially defensive wall, that does about 50%, which is crazy. This thing's special attack is through the roof. We're going to be able to U-turn out here, though, and we're going to be able to jump into Vikavolt. He has nothing to do with me. I resist electric, I resist bug. Hidden power is not, or grass, excuse me. Hidden power is not going to be able to do a lot, so I'm actually free reign to just go ahead and smash something with Bug Buzz. And as you're going to see, this is the bulkier variant of Lycanroc. It's not necessarily a bulky mon, but it's definitely bulkier than Day, and I absolutely obliterate that. No idea what its set was. We never got to see it and never attacked, but it does go down in one hit, which is phenomenal for me. So, based off the damage we saw the Thunderbolt do, and the fact that obviously Bug Buzz is going to be neutral, I'm actually deciding to stay in on this play. He goes for Leech Seed, which is pretty much his best play. We're going to Bug Buzz him. I was really hoping we'd pick up the kill here, but he lives with like 1 health, which really sucks, because check out this recovery. You've got the terrain, you've got the leftovers, and then you've got the Leech Seed coming through as well. And he ends up healing just an insane amount of HP in a single turn, to be honest. And he also is able to carry Protect, and I very much predict that on this play. As I said, Terry's a phenomenal battler. He predicts this flawlessly as I go for the Protect play, and he's actually going to hit me with Horn Leech, which is actually a huge problem. It was probably a better decision for me to stay in on that one, because even after a Protect, I would have been able to live, or I would have been able to kill him, excuse me, with another Bug Buzz. But I misplay it there a lot, and he's actually able to pretty much destroy me there. So at this point, he's going to switch out and sack the Xurkitree, and it does look like I'm in full control at this point. It's 4-1. I have the terrain advantage. So at this point, it's looking like, dang, I actually went against him really well on this one. But as you're gonna see, this Tapu Bulu is a huge problem with what I've done on the field. I've allowed him to weaken Lele, which is a huge problem. I've allowed him to weaken Decidueye, which is a huge problem. So he made the plays he needed to, really. I go into Decidueye here. He's just gonna instantly click Horn Leech, and that's actually just gonna one-tap me from where I'm at. And despite the fact that it looked like I'm in full control, he's actually at maximum HP almost here after everything is said and done. And he's got a really good shot to win this fight at this point in time. So he ends up, after the leftovers, he ends up a little bit over 75%. I'm able to bring in Lele here, and that's what the hugest deal is for me at this point in time. I'm able to finish off his terrain for good at this point, and reset it with my Psychic terrain. So as we saw before, this thing is easily able to live this attack. I'm going to go for Psychic. It's clearly the best I got. But it doesn't even come remotely close to killing, to be honest. And he's actually just going to one-tap me now with Horn Leech. And now it continuously looks worse and worse. So at this point, my play, I'm figuring Mudsdale's a waste of time here. Vikavolt has to be my play. We haven't seen his fourth attack yet. He's got Horn Leech, he's got Protect, he's got Leech. He's yet to reveal that fourth attack in this match. I'm assuming Vikavolt's safe. I'm assuming I can just Bug Buzz him, but as it turns out, his final move is actually Rock Slide, which really sucks for me. It actually, I believe, criticals here. I'm not sure if that, it does crit. I'm not sure if that mattered or not, but it does pick up the kill, and at this point, it's pretty much GG. Horn Leech is going to obliterate Mudsdale, and I'm going to lose, right? Turns out, maybe not so much. Because he's a fully specially defensive set, you're going to see the Horn Leech come through, and while that does a massive amount of damage here, it does over 50%, it does not pick up the kill. Mudsdale's able to balk through it. I am banded. I weigh over 2,000 pounds, and I have Heavy Slam, and I'm pretty sure this picks up the kill here. Heavy Slam comes through, and I'm not sure by how much, but it does actually pick up the kill on Tapu Bulu, and it actually grants me the victory in this fight. So it was a really, really close game. I looked like I was in control pretty late there, but as I said, Terry's a really good battler. He knew what he could do. He did what he had to. He weakened my Lele on my mispredict. He weakened my Decidueye. He kept Rock Slide hidden the entire game. And even though his last mon ended up being that Bulu and a 4-on-1, he had all the tools he needed really to win that match. If he would have weakened Mudsdale a little bit more, which honestly could have been that Bullet Punch. Remember that Bullet Punch he hit on my Mudsdale, on my Minior, excuse me, was aimed at my Mudsdale. If he ends up like critting, excuse me, that Bullet Punch, he literally wins that game, I think. So it turns out being huge that Mudsdale was at pretty much maximum health there. Vikavolt goes absolutely ham on this one. The Mamoswine goes down quick. Vikavolt one-taps Toxapex. Vikavolt one-taps Lycanroc as well. And he does a really good job at making sure Bulu stayed at less than perfect health throughout that entire match. And then Mudsdale obviously is able to come in and clean that up and give me the win. So obviously, guys, that is the end of the video. Again, I want to thank you guys for watching it. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like, make sure you leave a comment, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not done so yet. I would very much appreciate that as well. If you found me via YouTube, I stream every single day. I do battles almost every day. I also breed. We battle tree grind sometimes when I feel like I need items, all that fun stuff. If you want to check me out on Twitch, it's going to be in the description below. It is twitch.tv/xChrisCobain, just like the YouTube channel. So make sure you check that out if you haven't. Really cool stream, really chill all the time, really, I think anyway, really fun place to be. So make sure you check me out if you haven't. So that is it for me on this video, guys. Again, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I will see you guys in the next video. All right, peace, Ramen Nation. See you next time.